Bye, gonna be ready on team one. We got Colby back in. Not first, unfortunately. Sai in the bag. Jay gonna be first up versus Lulz. Pala. Is that adaptation actually gonna proc at any point? I feel like adaptation. Did they break adaptation? As I played a time in RBG with face amongst total roll fest. This is what I used to love about RBGs. There's the cheesy comps, man. The cheesy comps. Because some people went comps heavy too. Some people would go like super rot comp with like Affliction Warlocks and Shadow Priest. It was super cool. Nowadays it's just like BG Blitz where you get like what 5 paladins of one team maybe. That's about the most wackiness you can really get. Cobra best Warlock. Talk about Colbrack or Colbrea. Both are really good. Both are really good. Low's Pala getting hammered by Lances back to back. Shield of Venice is available. Last time Young. DK kind of blown up by Low's Pala. He's trying to make sure that doesn't happen again. Got himself full rooted. Shield of Venice for Low's Pala. That Meteor with Comet Storm Combat unfortunately does not crack through the defenses of a Paladina. Does hit him with a Blizzard behind the pillar. Unless you can buff up the damage of that Blizzard though. It feels like it just does so very little. It does slide damage, but like so little. Start onto it. Young does go for a full block. That is a Wake of Ashes. It looks like Low's Pala is actually going to expand those Dawn Lights into a full self heal. So it's going to be a reset for the both of them. With Low's potentially already using Spell Warden. Apparently already using Spell Warden. Is going to go for a bubble. For Young, he doesn't have a way to immune this. Does have an altar to reset his health at the very least. Dawn Light still rolling on him, unfortunately. You're not going for the big shield, are you? No, he's not. No, he's not. That's probably the best way of going about it right now. He's got himself shit in power. Trying to see if he can at least get himself some cooldowns back. Blinking past that stun. Does he have himself a proper setup here? Dropping in a bunch of AoE to keep Low's Pala at the very bare minimum slowed. Does get him properly rooted. But unfortunately doesn't really follow up with anything. Young is not really looking that good. The health bar eventually is going to be dropping little by little. Especially since Low's Pala can just break those shields and just put a Dawnlet that just sears right into the health. You want to play right now? Oh yeah. Well, hopefully Will is actually going to get a chance to play too, right? Actually get a chance to play. Young get hits with a blind even though he got full invis. Searing Glare right after he decided to wait this out. Polly, I think he has to have a go. I think he has to have a proper go. Might be a human racial out of Low's Pala, but I think you have to have a proper go. Try and drop a Meteor. The Ray of Frost too. Everything is available. Low's Pala actually maybe just dies. Leona's last second. Finally, Young was able to get a proper go, but the Paladin, he's just staring him down. Yo, wait, what? Are you gonna play? Is he gonna... I guess Bayek looks like he just walks away. Maybe he's just like, you know what? I spend everything. Versus Bayek, I don't know how much longer I can go for. Unfortunately, the maid doesn't quite take it. Can do Nighthold once level in prog. Wait, at what level? Is there a level bracket for it, Jake? For Nighthold? Who's up next, by the way? We've got a couple of druids. Curdy gonna be up next versus Bayek. Shadow Priest versus a red paladin. I feel like melee wins this one. 30. Oh wait, that's actually pretty good. So it's like what, 20 for Emerald Nightmare, 30 for Nighthold. I imagine 35 and 40 for the other raids, maybe, or maybe like 40, 45 for like the other two that we have left. Mr. Garrus and the and Taurus. Full stun onto Curdy. Does get himself Shadow Crash. The volleys unfortunately don't go flying. I don't know if he got himself a proper volley there or not, or maybe just not playing the volley build. Fear onto Bayek for a second. Mind Games right after. He got the Dawnlight. We're just going to end up healing him a little bit while Mind Games is active. Silence on Bayek. Bayek with the Spell Warden does end up reducing or immunity to the damage from the big rip. Massive Spell does go through him. Does get a juke out the kick, so the blind does not go through at all. Curdy able to actually keep the pressure on the Bayek. Shield of it is popping. Curdy may be looking at potentially going for Disperse here. He got VE, so he's okay. Trinkets out of this. The more damage you can do, the better. He might just be looking for Disperse though. Does go for Disperse. Bayek tried to stay on him as best as possible. Next stun potentially could be the end here. Curdy needs to back up out of there. Does get a stun onto Bayek. Full ripped and everything. Try to see if he can get a bubble out of him. If Bayek is not careful, that rip does take it. Woo! That rip grew and popped like a balloon. I feel like Bayek, he spent a judgment and he was like pressing bubble next global. But if you're too low of haste, you're not going to be able to do it. Silence on Cobra immediately is going to be Curdy breaking out of the Succubus CC, dropping a full Meteor on, or Infernal on him. Chaosball does get faded for a second. Mortical is going to connect, and Curdy is going to eat a bolt from the side with yet another Infernal flying in. Just, no, it's all good. It's all good, man. It's all good. I didn't think the Rift was going to pop as fast as it was. I was thinking it was still in the building stage. And it just went pop. Was it the Rift that killed? Or was it like Shadowboard Death? Because it looked like it was just the Rift. Because it was kind of meaty looking. That was rough. Cobra with a full set of pets. Unfortunately, Gossi is not going to rush him. He's just going to wait. Full root. Silence does catch the pet that's next to Cobra. It is silence completed, so it can't even do anything. Cobra is going to take a bit of damage in the opener, but a Dark Pact is available. Trying to see if he can outrun the entire grove of trees. Is going to get himself a Succubus CC. Trinket out for Gossi. Shadow Melt for a second. Mortical sent in. Reflect out for Cobra. He's still got himself plenty to keep himself alive here. Gossi does end up juking behind the pillar to avoid yet another bolt. Is trying to maintain the dots on both Cobra as well as the Succubus pet, which is going to be really, really good for him. Just trying to see if he can stay out. The Succubus is going to try to see if he can hit you with the Seduce. If you can power shift before it does so, you will be able to avoid it. One bolt makes it through into a stun. Soulfire right after. Not enough, unfortunately. Second bolt, but Gossi is in a bear form, able to take the damage, has more health, more raw survivability, able to also go for enraged regen. Full grove is in play. Wall out for Corbett to make sure he doesn't get CC'd. Fear onto Gossi. Then is still an entire grove attacking him. Fear yet again. Couple incinerates may not be enough to take down Gossi. Mortical. Does he have anything at all? You have one. You have one button. Renewal is going to do it. Heart of the Wild is also going to do it. So he actually has two buttons to do it. Roll into Cobra for a second. Cyclone right after. The Succubus may still catch you. Does go for a trick and just a drop in the big bowl in. And actually just the dots do him in. With double phase going to be up next as a balance druid from one boomy into the next. And he's again going to have to be very, very careful with that full grove attacking him all at once. No more wall available for him this time around. But for Cobra, might be able to cook these birds alive actually. He doesn't have a wall on though. Dark Pact not available for a while. Does have Succubus CC hitting the Boomkin. I thought, is this a humanoid form? I thought it was a proper animal form. I was pretty sure the Succubus CC could not hit if you were in an animal form. But I guess I'm wrong. I guess it needs to be like a... I guess a Boomkin form is just a humanoid form of sorts. Because it looks like a beast, right? I don't look at that big old chicken. I'm like, yeah, that's a humanoid. That's gonna silence out of Cobra. Double Infernal is a play, and that bolt just... That bolt is gonna do it. The bolt does do it. Gouge into Cobra for a second. Double Infernal still in play. One of the Infernals goes away. The other pet also goes away, unfortunately. Succubus doesn't catch the Rogue. Cobra taking huge hits, huge lashes of eviscerates. Does end up going for Warlock Hellstone here. At the very least, gateway to follow just to get away out of dodge. Has a slow onto the Smushka, so at least it's going to be okay. Mortical most likely there. Yep. Had the Mortical ready in case the Rogue was going to Shadow Step him. Because then the core was going to connect. Succubus CC does connect. Bolt stun. The Rogue does have a trinket. Into a big old meatball thrown in. Unless Cobra got a port. It might just be dead. Needs a port. Did not have it. Out of position. Unfortunately, Killer tried to see if he could take down the Rogue right then and there. Cobra did pretty good, by the way. Very, very well done. I want to see what happened with the second Boom Kid, because he just kept dropping in bolts after bolts after bolts. Just not letting the guy even catch a breath. And Smushka does end up going for the blind trade on the Hunt, just looking for a bit of a reset. Taking some dot damage, but the Hunt dot, it is pretty hard hitting, but it's actually very short-lived. It does a decent bit of damage, but it actually does not last too long. Stun onto the Smushka, does himself the full sigil of Spiteful Burst, does end up taking him out. That is unfortunate. Cobra picking up 3 actually. I didn't realize he won 3. I thought he just had double the Boomkin. I need to go back and look at actually. I feel like I need to go back and look at that duel all over again. The Smushka as well as Saya. Let me know when both boys are ready. We'll get another one going, yeah?